Hello, I hope you're doing well. I hope all things job search are finding some kind of groove and flow or continuing it, and that you are feeling new momentum and energy by being in this community. Super curious how those resumes are going. I hear folks are exchanging them and getting support, which is awesome. So keep up the great work. We are going to continue playing with your experience, and connecting that to jobs that you're applying for. So today we're talking about pitches. And that may come up in a networking event, for example, or when you send a LinkedIn outreach message, there may be some elements of your pitch in there. And certainly when you're on an interview and you get that question, tell me about yourself. So we're going to talk about how to structure your pitch, what makes for a good pitch, and then I'll give you a little bit of homework around that. Okay, so as I talked about, this pitch or elements of the pitch can really come into play at any time of life. Folks are always wondering, what do you do for work? And definitely in the job search process, this comes up, right? Why does this matter? Because first impressions really matter. This is your pitch, your answer to tell me about yourself is a great way to set the tone for an interview, for a relationship. We really want it to be concise. We want it to be memorable, and we want it to be engaging, so therefore relevant to whoever you're speaking to, right? So I'll talk a little bit more about the process. I'll give you a little bit of a challenge. For some of us might feel like a challenge, but a super helpful tool in just a minute here. So let's walk through the structure of a pitch. First of all, your name, right? And if you've already established intros and then tell me about yourself comes up in an interview or otherwise is not relevant, skip it, of course. But your name, who you are, including the role title, the target role title. And I'm going to give you an example of a pitch, but just to bookmark that. Include your years of experience, if significant, and so that can be total career. It could be in your target role. If you are, pivoting roles, then and you don't have exact relevant years of experience with that particular title, you can leverage this is a very people heavy facing role and I have 10 years of experience in that space, right? So bringing numbers in, right? We've talked about numbers, so making sure that those come in your pitch and in your interviews, stories, we'll talk about that too. But bringing those numbers in, we start with the years of experience. And if for some reason it doesn't feel significant, relevant, you can skip it, right? So why you chose to become this target role. And then this is where we want an engaging story of your experience and what brought you to this moment. And we want you to be excited about it so that the listener gets excited about it. And then you're going to move into your role relevant skills and experience, again, including numbers here, making sure it is relevant to the target role and not just going down the list on your resume. So this is really to bring storytelling in, to tell me about yourself. And we'll pick a couple highlights of your experience to do so, and accomplishments in there. And again, using those numbers. And then we end with, what is the company's ROI on hiring you? Why should they want to hire you? And why you're excited to be talking to them today or at the time of the conversation, right? So really grounding in what is your value add here. All right, so I'm going to read through an example and maybe it'll, hopefully give you some support if you're like, oh, I'm not sure what to do with this information. And you can also do your own thing, right? So take the things you like that I say and you can leave the rest. So I'll be looking down to read. So thank you for allowing that. Okay, so the target role, technical recruiter at a small startup. So my pitch is going to be relevant to that. Hi, my name is Whitney. There's my name, right? Who I am / years of experience. I'm a career coach with over 10 years of people-facing experience across several different industries and roles. And now the section why I chose this path. My path to where I am started with my first job as a busser in a busy Italian restaurant in Vermont. The pace, the challenge, and the ever-changing guests kept me engaged, and I have forever sought roles that interface with different people and offer exciting challenges. And the section for role relevant skills and experience. My recent work history includes being a university recruiter where I experienced full cycle recruiting and it had the highest retention rate on my team at 100%. Following that position, I was one of the first hires at an artificial intelligence app startup where I helped grow the team from 8 to over 50 people and was a big part of creating the culture they have today. Most recently, I was an interpersonal skills and career coach to over 500 plus job seekers at another small startup. I successfully supported hundreds of people to secure their dream jobs in the tech industry and have an intimate understanding of the inner workings of a job seeker's mind when it comes to roadblocks and challenges. Section for why I'm excited to be talking to you today, the company's ROI. I'm excited to be speaking with you today because years of restaurant experience add a level of relevant experience and passion that will shine through in conversations with people you want on your team as you build out your autonomous cooking robot. That, paired with my decade-plus experience of working with people and years working specifically with technical talent, will ensure I show up with the necessary skills on day one to excel in the recruiter position. Okay, so that is just a quick example for a technical recruiter role at a cooking robot startup. Obviously, a lot of this was made up. And so now I would love for you to give this a go and start playing with, if you haven't already, or maybe you're like, oh, I got some inspiration from this, like updating whatever you have. And here's a little challenge that I want to offer to you is record yourself as you do it and watch the recording. And that can be uncomfortable and it can be cringy and it's super valuable information. And we'll talk more about this when we get to interviewing, but getting that feedback visually and auditorily can be super helpful in your process and making changes that might be beneficial or just knowing how you look and sound. And it's lovely, and it can be hard to see ourselves do it, but generally it's lovely on the other side, right? So try to, move through any judgment that might come up because you're doing awesome. And that's really what matters here. So yeah, let's go ahead and give that a whirl and share your pitch in the group for feedback and get connected with each other. I'll definitely be talking about mock interviewing. Start practicing this because obviously this is huge and every conversation you have, pretty much this comes up. So building your comfort, and for all of this, you may craft something out that's really amazing and really perfect and really beautiful. And at the end of the day, unlike what I did today, I don't want you reading anything you've prepared for an interview. It is so much more valuable to be present, even if it's on Zoom, certainly in person, to be present in the conversation because so many people are not present. So if you can bring that energy to the space, it will automatically make you feel different than other candidates, okay? So despite maybe crafting and writing something really beautiful, allow yourself to go off script, to change direction, to not, memorize it like you need to know every single word. So I recommend like little bullets, like, oh, here's where I'm taking this, and just allow yourself to speak freely and really be in the practice of it. And that's how you're going to build the confidence and the comfort to be able to then show up in a present way in the interview process. So okay, I hope that is helpful. Oh, and also time yourself. We're looking for like 1 to 2 minutes on your pitch, and most interview stories. They can be a little bit longer, but generally in your pitch, 1 to 2 minutes, that's going to give us everything we need and help you from going off the rails into like, oh my goodness, I am somehow talking about my preschool teacher right now. How did we get here? Abort. And maybe you've never had that experience. It can be a struggle for those of us who like to talk like me. So I'm going to stop talking now, and good luck. You've got this, and we'll see you soon.